take a brain in a jar, please.
You got it, pal.
That's, you're making a sword.
Oh, trust the process.
No, Gemma, I know what a sword looks like, and that...
Ta-da!
But how did you do that? Ladies, gentlemen, and monsters of all ages, Monster Hunter Wilds is now upon us the world over. Hunters are diving in and experiencing this lovely game for the first time, and as you begin your journey, you are likely to have a few questions centered around weapons and armor, as things work a little bit differently this time around in Wilds compared to previous Monster Hunter games. That said, of course, we'll be avoiding spoiling anything of note, and we'll only stick to early game stuff, because today our end goal is going to be going over a nice, tidy, powerful beginner set of gear to help get you through low rank as you progress, and some early goals for high rank too. But before we get to that, I want to stop and properly explain the system in a bit more detail. So essentially, yeah, I'm going to give you a full-on fish at the end, but I do also want to teach you how to fish first, so that you'll have a better idea of how to put your own sets together a bit later on. First things first then, super basics for anyone completely new to Monster Hunter as a series. All equipment that you put on has skills. Every skill has ranks, and you can look at the actual information about these skills by using the extra menus and the extra inputs at the smithy. Usually, these skills will have 3 ranks, though some of them have less and some of them have more. Having the first rank will activate the basic version of the skill, and then increased ranks increases the effectiveness that the skill has. In previous Monster Hunter games, these skills would only be on your armor, in decorations, which are little gemstones that you can stick into armor a bit further in the game, and also from talismans or charms, which are like little amulets that you can stick on for some extra skill ranks too. In Monster Hunter Wilds specifically, we now have proper skill ranks on our weapons as well, so now every piece of actual equipment will give you skills in some way. An important thing to be aware of as well with this is that every skill in the game has been split into sort of categories as a result of this, and the easiest place to show this is the talisman screen, so I will blur any potential spoilers here, but look at the symbols beside each skill. If it has a sword, the game views it as an offensive skill. If it has a shield, the game views it as defense, so on and so forth. There are things like utility and such as well. Important to note as well though that all the skills that you're seeing here on the talisman list are actually ones that can show up on armor. None of the weapon ones will exist on talismans. With the fact that weapons now have skill ranks in Wilds, they've also put a very direct split between what can be on weapons and what can be on armor. So skills that can be on weapons cannot be on armor and vice versa, leading to there now being a split between these types of skills. For the most part, all of your skills in low rank will come innately on the actual equipment that you get. However, as you start to get to the end sections of low rank and enter high rank as well, armor and weapons will start to have decoration slots, and decorations have the same split for these skills as the rest of equipment. Weapon decorations that can be slotted in weapons and give the weapon category skills, and then armor decorations that can be slotted into armor and give the armor category skills. That said, there are only a handful of armor skills that actually affect pure offense in Wilds as a whole, so you shouldn't expect to get a whole lot of bonus damage from your armor itself anymore. But also know that the game is aware of this and is balanced around that fact. That said, the weapon skills you'll get to choose from early on won't be overly crazy either. Usually some mix of speed sharpening, slugger, maybe a rank or two of focus, maybe some crit draw, maybe some actual just critical eye, a little bit of guard here or there. It's generally very tame until you get to the actual high rank weapons, which means honestly as far as low rank progression goes in Monster Hunter Wilds, you are less reliant on farming for equipment upgrades than ever in the past, really. Another big change is that every armor set has something called a group skill on it, which activates a minor extra bonus for using 3 pieces of the same set. These are sometimes shared between different sets, so you can actually activate them by mixing them if the group skill matches. And it's worth noting that in high rank, alpha and beta armor split is a thing, and the alpha armors have different group skills than the beta armors, which adds another slight layer to build creation compared to previous Monster Hunter games too. All that said, with the basics of all of these systems now explained, let's go over your sort of ideal setups to get through low rank if you're someone who wants to feel as powerful as possible with minimal farming time spent. However, the usual disclaimer here for this kind of video that you can absolutely just get through the whole story without too much trouble just wearing whatever you feel like putting on, whatever you want to make along the way. This is more just for people who like having a bit more direction towards specific goals to actually gain power. Starting with weapons then, as they're fairly simple. If you want to have fun, craft monster weapons for the monsters you like. If you just want efficient power with minimal farming, stick to the hope and ore trees, mainly for most weapons, and make the highest versions of them you have unlocked at any point. These prioritize sharpness, and especially the jump from a green sharpness weapon up to a blue sharpness weapon is a really big moment for just being able to properly engage with monsters. Not to mention, these are generally the easiest weapons to actually make as far as what goes into them. As for which between these two trees, that essentially is different per weapon type, as the actual weapon skills will vary per type as well. So the really simple version of that answer is just do which of these trees has higher numbers and a better skill for you. As for Palico equipment, as that's also pretty easy to go over, always make the most recent weapon that you've unlocked for your Palico if it's from a monster whose part you don't otherwise want to use, as Palico damage actually does matter in Wilds. And as for the armor, honestly, for your Palicos, just stick them in whatever you think is visually fun more than anything. It's not that big of a deal. As for your Hunter's armor, however, at the start of low rank, the Hope armor set that you just get right out of the gate has full Divine Blessing on it, which isn't that bad to begin with, but you generally want to move away from this by crafting the first large monster pieces you can create, or some of the alloy set if you can make that first, which is unlocked by doing some basic mining. The main reason for this is the first large monster armor of the game has triple the defense rating of the Hope armor, which is what you start with, so that's a very, very big difference early on. Generally speaking, you get enough parts from a single low rank monster hunt to create at least a couple pieces of its armor, and so especially with there not being any offensive skills on early low rank monster armor, it's generally best to just make whatever you can as you progress, with a special note towards the Lala Barina, gloves, waist, and legs having the 3 ranks of recovery up between them, which will get you more mileage out of your potions. Balahara in the same slots would be a evade extender to make it easier to avoid attacks, so I'd choose between those two sets early on, and then maybe some of the Deshagama set as well for the free meal that offers to reduce your potion usage, and even the 2-set bonus that you can get from putting on like the chest and the helm of this as well, which just gives you increased attack after a power clash or a successful offset attack. So if your weapon has offset attacks, it's actually an easy way to get some bonus attack early on. Then generally you just want to upgrade for higher defense ratings on armor as you can until you eventually reach the ability to craft the armor for the apex monsters in low rank. Duna can give you ranks of peak performance, which is a solid early bit of extra offense when your health bar is full, and then if you really want to just sort of hit the peak of low rank armor, this is where the presentation of this video is going to get a little bit awkward because there are some things that I definitely can't spoil and plenty of things that I just plain don't want to spoil. So I'll be using very vague descriptive terms and blurring both the visuals of what the sets look like and the names of the monsters for this next sort of section. That said, disclaimer over, there is an armor set that you will unlock later in low rank that has 3 ranks of bursts across its pieces. This is a skill transferring from Sunbreak, and it boosts your attack and element damage with continuous hits up to the big boost at 5 hits in a row. This boost stays active until you've gone 3 seconds without hitting the monster in a row, but the set bonus of this armor at 2 pieces makes it so you gain some bonus attack while the skill is active, but also increases this window to 4 seconds, and the 4 set bonus gives you even more attack when it's active and extends the window to 5 seconds. So with 4 pieces of this armor set, you can go up to 5 seconds between attacks and not lose this bonus, which makes this even usable for the slowest weapons in the game, and it is an extremely potent offensive skill in Wilds for something that can show up on armor. For high rank then, I really need to avoid going into specifics, but generally speaking, to start high rank off, you want to start by just making some sort of high rank weaponry, anything that you can, as the jump to rarity 5 is a pretty large leap. Then do similarly for your armor, but then you want to hunt down the high rank version of the same monster that had the burst set bonus from low rank, as its high rank armor is just a better version of the same set and will take care of you quite well until you are ready to proceed into a proper endgame armor set. The best mix set for this stage of the game would be the beta helmet, alpha gloves, and beta waist from this monster, and then the beta chest piece and legs from this other monster for 1 weakness exploit on each piece. And this one is a monster which gives the same Scorcher set bonus in low rank to help you sort of work out which one I'm talking about for when you're at the stage of the game. Again, sorry, just some extra anti-spoiler precautions for the very first few days of the game existing. That just about does it for today, everyone. Just a guide on how skills work in Wilds, what makes them different from previous Monster Hunter games, how this affects the concept of putting together your own equipment sets, and then my recommendations for the various stages of the earlier game in Monster Hunter Wilds as well. Hopefully this helps you out along your journey, and if you have any questions about any of this stuff, feel free to ask down in the comments below. Like if you liked the video, subscribe to the notification bell for more, and most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, stay sweet.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.